Welcome everybody to a look at a new 4K Criterion Collection release, and it is 1930s Hell's Angels. So this is directed by Howard Hughes. So this was only one of two films that he actually directed. I haven't seen the second film that came out in the subsequent decade, but I have seen five films that he produced, one of which was this one, which also includes the likes of 1932 Scarface and The Las Vegas Story, which starred the likes of Vincent Price. But weirdly, also, this had a dialogue directed by James Whale. So initially, this film was supposed to be a silent film, but more than a year into the production, they actually changed their mind and went for a sound film. And since James Whale was a well-known theatre producer and director, or whatever you would like to call it, he was brought in to do the dialogue, and that hopefully, therefore, gave him the stepping stone to go on to do the likes of Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and The Invisible Man. So yeah, pretty interesting that he did the dialogue there. Not sure if that meant the scenes itself or just the dialogue, but regardless, yeah, that's a pretty substantial contribution to this film. And it is an epic war film, clocking in at 131 minutes long. I've only seen one person in anything significant out of the cast, unfortunately, and that is Jean Harlow. And she was also the lead actress in The Public Enemy. She had a minor role in the Scarface 1932, but for whatever reason, despite only being a year after The Public Enemy and only 2 years after this, it's a really rather quite small role, which a little bit of a shame given she's really rather good in this, despite I think this being actually her film debut. So yeah, when the Great War breaks out, brothers Roy and Monty Rutledge, each attending Oxford University, and this with the Royal Flying Corps. So although this is overall more of a technical and visual achievement than in terms of its plot or characters, especially when it comes to the first half hour or so, as neither of the latter is particularly great, this nonetheless comes together on all fronts by the time of the end of the film arrives. The cast is also good, the pacing is on point, it is generally engaging, has a decent score, it is well shot, and the character interactions get better as the film progresses, especially in the end. However, it is the technical and visual side where this excels best, though, as which is due to the miniature work being great, and which all helps to convey the action in a well detailed and exciting manner. The miniature work is also well shot when it comes to the dogfighting, as there is a lot of plane action in this, and in particular, the first time we see the German Zeppelin at night looming through the clouds, which is quite ominous to be honest, and yeah, kind of horror inflected in a lot of ways. Visually, this is mostly in black and white, but there are scenes that have one tinted moments to them, as well as colour, which is used to convey the likes of fire. So obviously there are elements of fire that occur in this, with either planes or zeppelins getting burnt, or when guns are shot as well. So you see the gunshots going off as well, especially when rapid fire machine guns. Some scenes are also, like I said, one tinted. So there's a scene with the Zeppelin at night, which is tinted in blue. There's a whole period drama scene that is in full colour to no doubt take a full advantage of the setting and costumes, which are all really rather quite lavish. It's also the only colour footage to start Jean Harlow, as she unfortunately only died a few years later. Um, and there is also a dueling scene at night that is tinted in purple, which looks superb. So, yeah, as a visual and technical achievement, this is excellent. I just wish the plot and the characters were as good as that. But like I said, it does eventually start to pick up in terms of both of those elements, and by the final hour or so, this is absolutely superb on all fronts. So, yeah, it's a solid 4 out of 5 from me. Was hoping for it to be a little bit better, um, but then maybe my idea of what this film is going to be like is something that wasn't ever going to match reality. But yeah, regardless, we have the 4K disc at the front and the Blu-ray at the back. So the Blu-ray, this has been on Blu-ray before from Criterion. I think it was in 2016 that that was released. So not sure if this is the old Blu-ray or a new restoration on that front, but still, we do have it on 4K. Yeah, and there's the artwork. That's new artwork, I believe. Although I can't. Oh no, maybe it is original. I've seen several different posters for this, so I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, yeah, we do have a, little bit of a essay on the go here as well, which also has cast and crew inside, and it's "The Sky Is the Limit" by Fred Kaplan, who is an author and journalist. So yeah, starts on this side. you can see, there's some of those warm tinted scenes there. That with the tree is a scene that is a dueling scene, and then we have the reverse as well. So we also have details about the master itself. So Hell's Angels is presented in the aspect ratios of 137 to 1 and 154 to 1, undertaken by Universal Pictures. I think the different aspect ratio is for the period drama full colour scene. Um, and yeah, this was undertaken by Universal Pictures. This new 4K restoration of the Magnascope Roadshow version of the film was created from a 35mm duplicate negative. The original monaural soundtrack was remastered from the 35mm optical soundtrack negative. Elements were provided by the UCLA Film and Television Archive, and restoration by NBC Universal Studio Post, dismastering by Next Spec. So yeah, there has been some work done to it. I wouldn't say it's the best looking black and white 4K film that I have seen. Um, but then again, that just could be due to the age of the film elements themselves. You know, it is a 95-year-old film at the end of the day. So I'm not going to be too harsh about it. I'm just glad that I finally got it on a new version to see the film itself. And yeah, the film overall did not disappoint. And yeah, we've got a new interview with Robert Legato, the visual effects supervisor for the Howard Hughes biopic The Aviator, which obviously starred Leonardo DiCaprio, on the groundbreaking aerial visuals of Hell's Angels. We've also got a new interview with a critic, Foreign Smith, name about actor Jean Harlow, outtakes from the film with commentary by Harlow biographer David Sten, and English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing as well on top of that. So yeah, overall, fairly impressive film. Like I said, more impressive in terms of its visual and technical aspects, but still overall a really, really good one. And yeah, far more, epic in scale in terms of its action and its technical aspects than a lot of films from the early 30s, quite frankly. You look at, other produced films from, Howard Hughes, like Scarface, for instance, which is a much smaller scale film, but this does not feel small scale at all. It does not feel like any money has been not spent on it, quite frankly. And that's the case with the budget. It was $2.8 million, which for 1930 is a huge amount of money. And even though it was a huge hit, it just didn't make that amount of money to make it back, quite frankly. It made about $2.5 million, which sizable amount for a film back in 1930, but when your budget is even more than that, that is obviously not going to result in any profit whatsoever. So, yeah, but it didn't clearly, impact Howard Hughes. He went on to be a multi-billionaire. He bought RKO Pictures, which have done several films that I've really enjoyed. And I think by the time he died, he was worth about $2.5 billion, which in 1976, so yeah, I think that's when he died. That is a huge amount of money. So yeah, obviously a massively influential person, and this film definitely seems to have influenced a lot of the great war epics that would follow on in the subsequent decades, especially when it comes to the miniature work and the high detail destruction and such, which during a certain bombing run is really, really impressive, and yeah, highly enjoyable on that front. So yeah, overall a really rather good film, and one that I do recommend seeking out if you haven't already. But if you have seen it, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you with the next one. Bye.